Disney Plus is getting a price increase.
I saw that.
I was curious where you land on that. Is it too expensive now, or?
I'm annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
As I feel are most other people. I feel like this whole streaming service thing was really cool when it first came out. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's like, oh yeah, you could ditch cable, because that was the argument. Like, hey, you can get rid of cable, and most people are like, no, I don't want to get rid of cable. And it's like, dude, there's so many things you can stream. You could have, Netflix or, now it's like every single broadcasting anything has a it used to be $5-6 a month charge, but now it's like $10, $15, $20 for some. And I'm like, I'm not saving. Like, I could have had cable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and now I just don't. So, I mean, it's rough. I understand they're offering quite a bit, like, especially with Disney, when you get like Marvel, and especially if you have kids. Like, I got kids, and Disney Plus is something that my kids love to watch all the time. So I definitely will find them watching that more than any other like streaming service. So, but it's interesting. I actually was talking to David about that today. He was talking about how he's still super into buying like hard copies of like movies and stuff.
Oh, really?
So when like Star Wars movies and Marvel movies, anything comes out, he still buys like the hard copy, and he likes to look for like the special edition ones and stuff. And I'm like, really? You still do that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it's better. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, sounds better. He's like, visually it's better. You don't have to worry about things buffering. And I'm like, wow, that's true. Like, everything is really like, I don't own any of these movies that are on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be the person that would do the same. I'd buy all the movies. I think the last Avengers type of movie I bought was Endgame. I don't think I've bought anything since, and maybe there's good reason for that, but what if they just stopped doing it? Now I just don't have access to all these, and I have to go buy them. Like,
right.
It's interesting to think if they just took it away, you'd have nothing.
I don't even know if I have a DVD player in my house.
Hey, you have like a PlayStation, right?
I got the digital. I have the digital PlayStation. I do have the Xbox, so I guess technically,
okay,
that's a DVD player. But still, like, because we've had that conversation as well, like, between my wife and I, of just like, oh, we should pick up this movie, and it's like, well, none of the streaming services have it, and we can get it on disc or VHS, and it's like, well, we don't have a way to play that, and
right.
yeah, I mean, I definitely see it, and like, especially when they're starting to take things off streaming services and you're losing stuff, and I definitely see the benefit of it, but I'm also like, man, it took up so much storage just to keep this stack of DVDs in a way, in my house. But yeah, I was looking at these prices. So like, I get the Disney Plus, ESPN, Hulu bundle.
Okay.
And that is going to be $19.99 a month. And to me, like, you get those three, and I'm like, that's not terrible. Especially when like Disney Plus by itself, ad free, is $13.99. So like, you get Disney, Hulu, and ESPN for $20. Like, okay, like,
is the Hulu ad free?
No, it is not.
No. So I have ad free Hulu and Disney Plus. I didn't even realize there was ad-free Disney Plus, so I must have the ad-free one.
Well, that's what's going to start on this new price increase. Is that so they'll have like an ad.
Ads.
Yeah, so they'll have an ad variation that's $7.99, which isn't terrible, but like, it's still gross. Like, speaking of which, now a word from our sponsor.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Ads annoy me. I feel like so many times, whatever ad I see that interrupts my video I'm watching, whether it's on YouTube or anything, it just makes me not want to use that product more because I get irritated of it.
Isn't it crazy though? Like, going back to that iPhone conversation, we grew up with commercials and TV, and we didn't have a DVR, and like, we literally had to deal with commercials our whole life, and now we've just reached a point where we're just like, God, I'm so over this. Like, I
gotta wait 15 seconds. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Even like you mentioned Hulu ad free. Like, Hulu with ads is pretty damn miserable. Like, it's just, it takes you back to an era where you're like, I don't like commercials. I do not like them. And I don't know. You look at it like, it's pretty much double. So Disney Plus ad free is like double the cost. And it's like, is that really worth it? Yeah. I would pay $7 a month not to watch ads, but still, it's just feels dirty.
imagine that we're watching like a new Star Wars movie and it's like, episode 10 or something, and things are about to go down and you're like in a movie theater and then an ad pops up. Like, do you think we'll ever get to that point where ads like take over movies as well?
Yeah, you're talking about like how like when you watch like actual TV, there's ads like in stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like in TV, a lot of times they'll structure it like they'll make like a tense moment, but then it's like everybody kind of pauses as the moment's happening and some crazy music starts playing, and then it's like somebody's shocked face, and then it'll cut to commercial. Like, what if they start doing that with movies?
Yeah, it's just such a this is where I struggle with this, because like, number one, you look at Disney and like they're like, we're losing money with Disney Plus, like we're not making money. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I love the service, charge more so you can make a profit. But like, I look at ads and 90% of these shows have like sponsored placements where someone's holding a Coca-Cola can and it's facing the camera, or like just someone's like, all the Marvel movies always have the exact same car, and they always like close up shot on the logo, and I'm like, you're getting paid for that. And it's a subliminal messaging, and I'm just like, that almost feels like it's ad enough. But again, I mean, I don't work in that side of the entertainment industry, so I guess it's easier for me to say don't do it. But if it means that I get to watch Star Wars till I'm 45 years old, then yeah, I'll watch an ad. You
see like characters in Star Wars hopping like a Chevy.
Yeah,
just driving away. Like, wait a second.
Yeah, I would love to see like a Chevy commercial where they have like R2 pops out of the back of the truck, and then like just it'd be so dope. But
you know what I saw recently too online, and maybe I'll have to find some pictures of it, and maybe we can show them next week. But it was showing a lot of like the old Star Wars movies, and obviously, back then it was you're trying to make you feel like you're in a space environment, and so a lot of the props and stuff they had, and some of the lightsabers, some of the things they were holding that were supposed to be like futuristic, like transponders and things like that, were just like household items that they just like spray painted or something. And I just thought it was so funny because they're like, this was a laundry basket, but it looked like some sort of like part of a droid, and it was like, it was like showing these different items, and I was like, that's so funny, like that just everyday items were made and convinced people that movies are being taking place in space.
Well, and that's like going back to that, what we were just talking about with like ads and paying for this, right? Like, do you remember growing up how when a Star Wars movie came out, literally every restaurant you went to had Star Wars there? And like, my understanding was like, the way that works is licensing, where the restaurant gets the licensing from Lucas, and they would pay for that from Lucas. And I'm like, so you're making money there, you're making money elsewhere, and like, it's just, I don't know. I don't get it.
Making money. They're making money. Trust me.
You're charging $100 a day to get into Disney World, and then $20 churros. You're doing fine.
You're fine.